Welcome to Ignite Goat Mentality, and I am Dr. Karen Walker, the Marine Corps veteran.
And I am Charmin Jacobs, the Navy veteran.
That's
Yes.
right. And the Marine Corps just had its birthday, so we just had a happy birthday to the Marine Corps. Um, so thank you so much. And so today our topic is mastering self-discipline. So we've been bringing you these topics and we like to give you these tips, but today is one that's a little bit tough because self-discipline is something we all, I think, have to deal with, right? It's the inner
Yeah,
self.
definitely.
How do we handle that? And so the first question, Charmin, is how well do you resist temptation? So,
I think it all depends on what is the temptation. So, for instance, my bonus son is here. He likes chocolate chips. He likes a lot of stuff that I should not be partaking in, that
yeah,
I've been avoiding. But the smell of it in the house, you only live once. So eat in moderation. So I had two instead of four, five, six, seven, whatever, just two.
sure.
So, but to get back to, the, temptation is, it just really depends on what it is. Like if it's something that is my favorite or I really enjoy partaking in it, and I'm talking about food that is, um, then it
Right.
just depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just depends on what it is.
I think
Yeah.
I mean the same, right? I mean for self-discipline and avoiding temptations, I think it's hard to say when you don't know like what is your temptation, what is your vice, what is that thing that keeps you pulled away from the goal. And I think
Hmm.
the flesh is weak, right? As they say. So
It is
I
indeed. It
think
is indeed.
for me, I think it could be, technology at times, right? That next new gadget, that next new thing. And so sometimes I need to be like focused on what I already have, right? So if this laptop is still good and it can do what it needs to do, like, come on, you can stay. You don't need a new laptop or you don't need a new phone or you don't need that next new gadget. So, I think being focused in the moment is can be a temptation for me. So I think whatever your vice is that's keeping you maybe from that goal that you set, and we've talked about this on previous shows
Hmm.
that we've done. I think your temptation is something that you're going to have to be self-disciplined about enough to keep you focused on the goal. So
All
that's
right. I
something
think,
to think about. Sure.
yeah. So, I'm studying Napoleon Hill, right? Think and Grow
Mhm.
Rich. Um, and it talks about the definitive purpose, right? Like,
Mhm.
what is your definitive purpose pertaining to whatever goal you're trying to achieve? And then just going back to that definitive purpose of your why, maybe even the 7 levels deep, which is Simon Sinek's activity of why, like, okay, why am I doing this? I mean, okay, and then going down 7 levels deep, right? Then you get to the core of really why you're doing something. So if you're tempted, your why and your definite purpose will keep you in alignment to say, okay, I need, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I need to resist. So, for instance, I need to lose 25 pounds in 9 weeks. Okay, then I have to, my definite purpose is that 9 week, lose the pounds. So I have to
Right.
keep reminding myself that if I'm putting something in my mouth or if I'm doing something that is not going to get me closer to at my purpose or my why, then maybe I need to think about it and not do it.
Sure. Yeah. That the why is always important. Um, so in terms of that then, what do you do when you feel bored? It,
Oh, geez.
I mean, how do you stay self-disciplined when you get that feeling? I mean, it's hard, right? I mean, if your goal is 9 weeks long, come on, what do you do when you get bored?
Bored with that particular, like, I just thought that was like with that with that particular goal when I get bored.
No, just in general, right? I mean, like we're talking about maintaining or excuse me, mastering self-discipline, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we're thinking about igniting the goat mentality, I mean, what do you do when you get bored? It's a common thing. What do you do?
Educate yourself, right? Learn something new.
Sure.
I'm always listening to. I I don't know. I don't know that I'm getting bored in at this age of my life. There's so much that I could be doing. And to be
Yeah,
honest, it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
at this stage, it's like always something that I could create to help someone out. There's always someone I can call to encourage. There's always something I could read it to in educate myself or make I can always take a. I am so boredom is good. I
boredom is the
believe
least of
because
your
it's
issues, huh?
exactly, yeah, because it makes you slow. It slows you. Like for me, if I'm bored, I can slow down. I can take a walk, right?
Sure.
And I could just and walking is very meditative for me outside in nature. And so I just like, hey, if I'm bored, I want to break up the monotonous of whatever it is I'm doing. I just take a walk. So
Right.
I look at it as
Yeah,
like
I
an
like that
opportunity to
word
just slow
better,
down.
like you said, monotonous, because
Yeah.
I think, well, at least when I grew up, my parents would say like, "Oh, you're bored? I'm gonna give you something to do." Uh, so I think monotonous is a good way to put it because I think throughout my day there will be times where I do get that feeling of like, okay, it's time to do something else or it's time to mix it up. So in terms of mastering self-discipline, there's going to be times in your life, I'm sure, where you get that feeling of, you know what, I think I need to switch it up. I've been, having this hairstyle for a long time and I want to switch it up. Or I've been, maybe always, um, doing this job for the same for amount of years and I want to look to do something else, right? Or in this business for a long time and now I want to look at expanding to new clientele. So I think in terms of mastering self-discipline, mixing it up is important because you've got to be able to break that monotony and challenge yourself maybe a little bit to
Yeah.
get out there and do something like a little bit more of like spreading your wings or maybe like just mixing it up, getting fresh air, going for walks. I mean, it depends. Again, I think it all goes back to like you said in the beginning, what is the goal? What is your why? And then you'll understand kind of what's the boredom around what you're feeling for sure.
Like, make learning fun, right? That's what I used to say to my daughter. Like trying to make learning fun, like math or reading or anything. Just like make a gamify it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So the third question here, and we're gonna look at this. Uh, this is probably the hardest part about self-discipline. So we're very vulnerable here. Is how disciplined are you when it comes to your exercise routine and your eating habits? So in terms of self-discipline, I think this is probably where, you know, it really can be difficult for each of us, right? I mean, because it's one or the other, right? They usually say like what is it like your abs is like 80% diet or something. So have you heard that before?
I think that anything that we do it like anything when it comes to exercising or weight loss is 80% is what we put in our mouth and 20% of what we of the activity that we do.
Mm, okay.
Hmm.
So, what would you say it looks like for you? How disciplined are you when it comes to exercise? I mean, because I know you've been pretty
I'm a loss of
dedicated
discipline.
on this reveille,
Oh, on.
reveille.
I think sometimes we kind of beat ourselves up if we go off course, and then we're beating ourselves up so much, so much, so much that we don't get back on course. So I'm going to say that I give myself grace. I did not get up and walk over the weekend. I was at a conference, and I could have gotten up early. I've been
Hmm.
using an excuse of it is not as light out here in the country as it is like at 6:30 it is still dark, but I want to get up at that time.
Sure.
So, and walk outside. And so my excuse now is, man, it's too dark outside. But I mean,
Yeah.
I've still gotten up and rode the bike. So
It's that daylight
it's not
savings, right?
right. So I'm better than I was, but I'm not as consistent as I need to be. But I don't beat myself up, because when I do that, then I can it's it's just 1% of movement. So 1% of movement.
I like
So
that.
if it's only 30 minutes on the bike, then it's 30 minutes on it. That was just 1% movement.
Sure.
How about you?
Uh, yeah, no, I would say the same. I mean, I think I used to be extremely disciplined in my exercise routines and eating habits. I mean, I used to journal, especially when we were, active duty. I mean, I think
Oh,
that's just the
definitely.
nature of it, right? I mean, sometimes not even by choice. I mean, you were told, like, what you were
Well, it
eating.
became a part of our day though. Like my day began when I worked out. And I was
Yes.
just thinking about that today. It was for me, I met a workout partner at the gym. So it was like
Yes.
accountability partner.
Yep.
And so I didn't want to not show up for my
Yep.
workout partner,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So and again, it was a part of my day. So whatever time I started working out was, yeah.
Yeah.
And it
And
was
e
just,
and
I don't
even
know,
on
for
deployment, I think that helped the time go by. I think we got up to doing like two, sometimes three workouts a day just because it
oh my
it would help time pass by. You would be like, okay, let's
yes.
go back or let's do like a lunchtime quick, workout just so you could pass
Wow.
time.
You took it back, Karen. You took it back, because I remember doing 3 a days.
You wonder why you come back from deployment and you're like ripped. This is the best shape I've ever been.
Like, and it's crazy
Sure.
because, during COVID, we could have done three a days.
Yeah. Yes,
Anyway.
exactly. And actually, I would say during COVID, during the shutdowns, like I think we were pretty disciplined about our eating too, because we were like cooking like our own meals, like at least, three different meals a day, very strict about, the fresh vegetables, everything like that. So I think being disciplined about your diet and exercise is really important. I think I learned more about that, I would say probably during COVID, of what exactly that means. So that's helped me now. So the last question for today is how well do you prioritize tasks? Because I think for being self-disciplined and mastering that, you can have a plan and you can kind of resist temptation, you can do all these things, but if you don't prioritize your tasks, then it can all go to the wayside. So, how well do you feel that you prioritize the tasks that you have?
I think that I'm getting better at it, because utilizing block scheduling, right? Not trying to multitask, and only like just block. Like, for an hour, I'm gonna work on this, and that's it. And then I'm gonna take a break, and then I'm gonna go back to either this or I've completed this, and that's it. Not because we can get so distracted with all the devices that we have. Like I have two screens here, actually three. Okay, four with the phone. And so if the thing goes off, we have to learn how to like not jump at it, it's not emergent. It just
Right.
really isn't probably right. And just just being very strategic and intentional about just not multitasking. Multitasking, I for me, I cannot multitask. I need to get one thing done, concentrate on one thing, and that's it. Boop.
Yeah, I like that.
And just and then work on it and then go to the next.
Yeah, I like that a lot. One technique I learned recently that helps with that is um when somebody interrupts you, writing down where you were at in that moment, like on your screen or if you were mid-sentence, and just telling them like just a second, and then taking my notes to write down where I left off. Because a lot of times you could be in the middle of like sending an email or finishing up a sentence or in the middle of a certain task that you were just about to finish. And then that goes to the wayside. Like you never sent that email or that text that you thought you did. And then like a week goes by and you're like, what? I told you that I wasn't going to that event, or I told you that I couldn't make it. And then you're like, oh, I never sent it. So that's happened to me before. So that's helped me now is like when I do get interrupted, I just say, oh, just a second, and I jot down what I was in the middle of. So I learned that technique recently. So that's helped me quite a bit. But as far as prioritizing, I think I do a really good job like in the moment now and at work. And I'd like to do a better job kind of prioritizing my time with friends and family by making it like a high priority. So when I'm off and making friends and family a high priority. So we're
Yeah.
getting close to time today. So we want to remind you that when you're igniting goat mentality, you've got to use it
Use
or
it
you will
or you
lose
will
it.
lose it.
That's right. So you can find us at Dr. Karen Walker Official on our YouTube channel. So there you can always like and subscribe. And of course, Success After Discharge. You'll find us there as well with Sharman Jacobs. Where else can they find you in your material?
Um, I'm I'm on you on all the socials under my Success After Discharge on TikTok and Facebook, and then Google my name, Charmin Jacobs, you'll find me too. So
All right. And you have a
yeah.
newsletter coming out. So
Yeah.
stay
Uh,
tuned for more.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much.